department, we are Dinesh Gupta, HOD of Electrical Engineering Department, we are Lavnish Talwar, all the faculty members and the students. It is great pleasure indeed for me to welcome you all to the orientation session on National Education Policy with a focus on innovation and entrepreneurship, which is organized by the Yogananda College of Engineering and Technology. I would like to say a few words about Yogananda College of Engineering and Technology. The college was established in 2013. It has been approved by All India Council for Technical Education, which is AICT, for conduct of full-time 4-year bachelor program. This is recognized by the J&K state of affiliation, which is affiliated by the University of Jammu. This college is, if we talk about the Department of Electrical Engineering, we have intake capacity of 60. We are currently running 4 batches. Now, I would like to take this opportunity to express my deep appreciation to our guest of today's session, Dr. U. Chandra Kumar, Assistant Professor, Pachiappas College for Men, Kanchipuram, Tamil Nadu. Now, I request Dinesh sir to please say a few words about the guest.
Shivangi, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you, Shivangi. Good morning. I, Dinesh Gupta, HOD CSC Department and President of IIC Sala YCT, feel honored and privileged to welcome today's speaker, Dr. U. Chandra Kumara. Dr. U. Chandra Kumara, he is working as Assistant Professor at Pachapias College, Kanchipuram, Tamil Nadu since 2014. He has done his PhD in the year 2019 from Presidency College, Chennai, and Masters in 2008 from Laila College, Chennai. He has also cleared SET, State Level Eligibility Test, and NET, that is National Eligibility Test, in the year 2012. He has also worked as visiting faculty at Reserve Bank of India from 2012 to 2015 and worked as assistant professor at Government College, Nandanam, Chennai. He was also holding the post of placement officer from 2017 to 2019 at Pachapais College, Kanchipuram, and SPOC, that is single point of contact of SOIM NPTEL, from 2018 till date at Pachapais College, Kanchipuram. He has presented so many national and international conferences and presented so many papers in the international journal. He has organized an awareness program for airmen positioning in Indian Air Force and also organized orientation sessions for civil service examinations. He has received Best Student Award in the year 2004, received Communication Club Medal for conducting awareness camp in the rural areas. Also, he received Certificate of Appreciation for rendering his services as bridge course tutor at St. Joseph's College, Trichy. His area of interest are English, language teaching, and current literary theories. He is mainly into developing need-based materials for teaching English to students from rural areas and trained more than 10,000 students in his capacity as a freelance placement trainer. Now, I would like to welcome Professor Dr. Anup Kumar Srivastava, Director, Yogananda College of Engineering and Technology, Engineer Lavnish Talwar, HOD Electrical Department, and students of Electrical Engineering Department of Yogananda College of Engineering and Technology. Thank you, Shivangi, and over to you.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to invite our director, sir, Dr. Anup Kumar Srivastava, to welcome our guest, sir.
Okay, thank you, Shivangi. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Respected Dr. U. Chandra Kumar, who is Assistant Professor in Pachayappa's College for Men, Kanchipuram, Tamil Nadu. Head of the Computer Science Department, Mr. Dinesh Gupta. Head of the Electrical Engineering Department, Mr. Lavnish Talwar, the other faculty members of Electrical Engineering Department, and my dear students. A very good morning to all of you. First of all, I would like to welcome today in the institution's innovation cell activity of the Electrical Engineering Department on national education policy with a focus on innovation and entrepreneurship. I would like to welcome Dr. Chandra Kumar, who is a key speaker of today's talk, as well as all the HODs, faculty members, and sorry, I think it got disconnected. Dr. Chandra Kumar will be delivering talk on national education policy. As we know that after a very long time, our country has devised the national education policy, and the main objective of this national education policy is to improve the employability among the students. People, in fact, have been receiving the degrees and particular which are being received by the students. But when we talk about the employability or the job opportunities, in fact, few degrees are the specialized degrees only serve the purpose. So at the same time, people just take the degree for the sake of sort of a taking degree, which becomes a show off, but does not, contribute in terms of the employment. So the objective of this national education policy, rather I would say that one of the main objective of the national education policy is to see that to improve the employability among students, and whatever the degree which they receive from the university or colleges or engineering colleges or any place, they must get the job. And that is why the skill is the one which is very important. So it is always now been seen that how to improve the skill of the students, so that when a student receives degree and has got the skill, he must get the employment, and his or her degree becomes very, very useful, and no one remains unemployable. So this is one of the main objective of this national education policy, and I hope that Dr. U. Chandra Kumar will throw light on the national education policy and elaborate about the different features of the national education policy, as well as on innovation and entrepreneurship. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Chandra Kumar. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now I request Dr. U. Chandra Kumar, sir, kindly start the session.
Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Yes, yes. Okay. I would like to thank the director of the institution, Dr. Anup Kumar, as well as Dr. Dinesh Gupta, head of the Department of Computer Science of Yogananda College, for having invited me to give this special lecture. When I got the lead from Mr. Dinesh Gupta, and after my slot as a speaker was confirmed, I felt very delighted. I told him directly that I'm going to address the students from the land of apples and kesar, which are my favorites. I like apples as well as kesar. So I'm very, very delighted to be part of your institution today. I think I am making it right. Are you able to follow me? I don't want to be fast. Are you able to follow me? Is it good? Is the tempo good? Yes. Okay, that's fine. So thank you for having me here. New education policy has introduced a new dimension of learning in the country. So people from various part of the country have started accepting the importance of new education policy. As it was rightly pointed out by the director of the institution, that there are many graduates coming out of engineering colleges in the country. But do we have entrepreneurs and problem solvers among those engineers coming out of the colleges? The answer is no. Every year, the colleges offer degrees to their students. But the concern is, are these students, are these graduates able to solve the most adverse problems in the country, especially the problems that stifle the development of our nation? Our nation is proudly marching towards the top country list. We are already doing well. But what is more important is a refined education system that boosts the national development. The highbrows, I mean the big brains, have started pondering over the need for introducing a new education system, and it has resulted in the introduction of new education policy. The students, not actually as students, the students, the future generation must develop the attitude for questioning. Only when you have the aptitude for questioning, you can explore the realms of the problems. You can find out solutions for those problems. The students are not supposed to read the text alone. The students have to explore the problems in the various parts of the country and try to find out solutions for those problems. Only then the people of this country can have a better life. Especially, new education policy is the need of the hour to uplift the poor people from the abysmal state. And especially the poor people who fight for even the basic livelihood of this country must be uplifted. For the upliftment of such people, we need to have realistic education system. I strongly believe the new education policy is going to solve a lot of problems in this country. So in the first place, kudos to the government for having introduced this new education policy. I've got a lot more to discuss. Let me start with the first slide. I think the host can scroll it down so that I can explain to the students one by one. And before I plunge into the main part of the lecture, I have a request for the students. I want all of you to ask me questions today. Any lecture should not be teacher centric. The lecture should be student centric as well. The real purpose of any lecture or any dissemination of knowledge is complete only when the teacher receives umpteen questions from the students. If the students do not pose questions, it means the lecture is not effective. And of course, it's $1 million question whether the talk is intelligible or not. So I want all of you to raise questions once the session is over. Perhaps there are only a few students, I think 40 number. All of you can individually pose questions after the lecture is over. This is my request. Okay. Again, I'm so proud to address the students of Yoganand College of Technology, and especially on the platform sponsored by Ministry of Human Resource Development, that is the Institution Innovation Council. Okay, we'll go with the first slide. I'll discuss the principles of new education policy. So we had the age-old education policy that came in effect in 1986. The 1986 education policy revamped the method of learning. The method of learning moved from home to the mass level. I mean, we had private tutoring, we had private coaching, and from private tutoring to we moved to the mass learning. Many schools were introduced. Many students were encouraged to go to schools. That was the biggest success of 1986 education policy. We all found places to learn, that's all. But now this education policy is totally different and more lucrative, that it completely fine tunes the method, not only the methodology of learning, but also the prospects of the learners. This education policy aims at brightening the prospects of the learners. That is, you students, after graduating in a specific subject, going out of your college, you must have the scope to get a job. So this education policy ensures that you get a job either by yourself, by doing something, or applying for various places. So the first principle of new education policies, it develops ethical and human and constitutional values. You have the chance to develop an ethics, and it improves the human-centric approach, and it creates an opportunity for you to understand our nation better, and it provides for the multidisciplinary education. What is that? It doesn't mean, see, I am a professor of English. Now I am addressing the students of electrical engineering. This is an example for multidisciplinary education. As a professor from liberal arts, I don't confine myself to teach only the students of English, but I have got the chance to address the students from electrical engineering. This is an example of multidisciplinary education. I must learn a bit of electrical engineering. You must learn a bit of language. You must learn a foreign language. You must learn a bit of bioscience. So you must be open to learn variety of subjects to solve the problems in this country. Only when you have multidisciplinary knowledge, the scope of innovation becomes effective. Only when you have multidisciplinary knowledge, you have more out-of-box ideas. You are studying electrical engineering now, but don't confine yourself only to classroom. You should go out and talk to the people and find out the problems. Community participation is also the core ideology of this education policy. So this new education policy altogether improve your understanding of the nation by forcing you to learn subjects from different disciplines and creating an opportunity for you to meet people from different sects. This is where I say that principles of new education policy are really beautiful. Let me go to the next slide. So, yeah, next one. Yeah, what are the objectives of higher education? So it is to prepare the students to seek robust solutions for the problems in the society. Every day, you know one thing, when we pass by or when we travel from home to college or home to school, we skip a lot of problems that affect the millions of people in this country. We have never been so sensitive to these problems, and we have thought that education is only to improve ourselves. That's the reason we skip so many problems and so many people suffering from different problems, and still trying to educate ourselves, thinking that education is completely different. It is not related to solving the problems of others. So it is to define education as knowledge creation and innovation for contributing to growing national economy. Yes, that's very important. I give an example. We all now be so concerned with using organic products. And how do you think that organic products contribute to the economic development of this country? Are you really concerned with introducing more organic products? to improve the national growth? And how do you think that electrical engineering can help farmers get better? So you have to contribute to the national economy. You electrical engineers can contribute to the method of farming. Agriculture will improve, and they get more income, and thereby our country's economy also comes up. So it is to redefine education as knowledge creation and innovation for contributing to growing national economy. This is by giving solutions to the problems of different sects of the people in this country, you also contribute to the national economy. Overall, the objectives of higher education with regard to new education policy are to prepare the graduates, reach out the people, understand their problems, and help them find solutions for those problems. The question is, can you have this experience in your institution itself? Can you have this experience in your college itself? No. You should go out, interact with people, and integrate your social learning with academic learning. When you combine your social learning with academic learning, you come out with a new dimension of research. That research goes up, and finally that gives a solution for the problems in the society. Yeah, next. Next one. Yes, the new approach to education, the new approach to higher education also includes holistic approach. As I said, it integrates humanities with arts, with science, technology. We have STEM education. S stands for science, T stands for technology, E stands for engineering, and M stands for mathematics. No, let us not stop with that. We have to combine creativity, problem solving skills, critical thinking with the core subject knowledge that we learn. You have to join hands with the students of chemistry. I said don't confine yourself only to interact with the students of your class. Interact with the students of chemistry, interact with the students of physics, interact with the students of fine arts, and interact with language teachers like me. You all create a synergy. Synergy means a group of people coming together for a purpose. You all create a synergy. Work together, applying your domain knowledge for finding out a cumulative solution for the problem. Then education becomes meaningful. This is called a holistic approach. Next one. So, what are the responsibilities of the students in higher education institutions? You should contribute to the development of nation by engaging themselves in researches. So you have to contribute yourself, contribute to the development of nation by engaging yourself in researches. You must develop the spirit for doing researches, and you have to inculcate the aptitude for debating constructively. For example, I think high voltage engineering is the part of electrical engineering, if I'm right. Your professor gives a lecture on high voltage engineering, specifically on a topic. The lecture is for an hour. You have been listening to your professor. After the lecture is over, you have to interact with your professor. Get additional information about the subject. With this knowledge, with this additional knowledge, you have to debate with your fellow students. Debate leads to the improvement of knowledge. When you listen to your counterpart, you develop a critical thinking. Because your way of thinking is different, his way of thinking is completely different. So, develop the spirit of debating. Don't be dumbfounded. Don't get only glued to the textbook. Come out of the textbook. Debate constructively. And Collaborate with the students of other disciplines, as I said. Disseminate the knowledge that you've learned to the students of other departments as well. And your college must have incubation center already. Go to the incubation center to create an opportunity to learn from the experts of different disciplines. Give shape to your idea in incubation centers. After developing your prototype means what is a model. I'll talk about prototype elaboratively while I discuss design thinking. After you develop your prototype, you have to list this or you have to nominate this in the Institution Innovation Council. Institution Innovation Council is part of Ministry of Human Resource Development. When more innovations are up, our nation's innovation index also goes up. It gets an edge over other nations. So these are all the responsibilities of the students. Next. Next, please. Yes. You should always look at problems as opportunities. As I said, if you try to skip problems, we are not responsible citizens of this country. So look at problems as opportunities, but not noises. If someone comes to you and make a complaint, don't get disturbed. Please develop the patience to listen to him and give solution to his problem. You must soothe him. You must make him peaceful. This is called a placebo situation. We need a placebo situation for the entire nation, for which we must find out solutions for the problems that adversely affect the people of this country. So this is very important. Look at problems as opportunities, but not noises. Yeah. You may find my lecture a noise, but still you must find out an opportunity in this lecture. For example, I'm saying, right? Yeah. Okay, go to the next one. Yes. Yeah, there you see a long queue in the ration shop. And you see differently able people have difficulties in traveling to schools. For example, these are some of the problems. While pregnant women stand in the ration shop queue, what happens? While elderly people stand in the ration shop queue, what happens? So, don't think that education is only to improve the rocket science. So, you must come out of that ivory tower approach and develop a bottom-up approach to improve the livelihood of these people. Don't think education is only to contribute ideas to Tesla, Elon Musk Tesla. It is to solve the most common problem in this country. So look down. You find a long queue in the ration shop, and you find that differently able people have difficulties in traveling to schools. How are you going to solve or resolve the most basic problems of this nation, which remain as threats to the betterment of the people? Okay, next. So now innovation comes. To find out solutions for these problems, innovation is important. What is innovation? The Cambridge definition of innovation is this. It is a new idea or method, or the use of new ideas and methods, the development of new ideas, designs, and products. For example, yeah, let us go to the next slide. Yeah, let me differentiate invention and innovation, and I'll give an example. How is invention different from innovation? And we have one more word also, that is discovery. I'll define that as well, so that you will understand the difference among invention, innovation, and discovery. Invention is the creation of a new product. Manifestation of ideas. You have new ideas in your mind. For example, John Lucky Bird invented television. You use the same television and the technology in the television and educate the people in the rural areas, the inaccessible hamlets in the country. That is called innovation. So invention is design and mechanism of, for example, it's a design and mechanism of driverless cars. Whereas innovation, adoption of driverless cars makes traveling easier and faster. It is innovation. So the innovation part in the invention is, so what people gets through an invention is a result of innovation. So innovation is that people can travel faster to the workplace. This is called innovation. And invention is a basic idea that paves way for the innovation. I give an example. John Lucky Bird invented television. It is a basic example, and it uses same television and the common technologies in the television educate the people in the most inaccessible hamlets in the country. Next slide. Okay, so is there any course to develop the innovative thinking? I'll explain what discovery is towards the end of the session. Is there any course to develop innovative spirit? Yes. You can do a course on design thinking, but not necessary. Not all of these innovations have come out because those, the patent holders of those innovations did a course on design thinking. It's not necessary, but if you feel you want to have this as a comfortable zone, you can do a course on design thinking. So the most important components of design thinking are empathize, define, ideate, prototype, test. To empathize, as I said, you have to reach out to the people. You have to go to the people. I said you have to go to the people standing in the ration shop queue, or you have to go to the people suffering in the hamlets, doing a ground study, understanding the problems in the grassroots level. That is called empathize. When you have to choose between the two, for example, you, as I said, you find a long queue in the ration shop that elderly people and women suffer a lot. And you also find a long queue in the airport that the airlines have to come out with more customized check-in systems to process the ticketing system easily. Then you have to choose between the two. What do you have to choose? You have to choose the farmer. Because that seems to be a little extravagant. Of course, that also needs a solution. But to empathize, you have to empathize with the people standing in the ration shop queue. Let us discuss and find out the solutions for the problems in the airport later. So go to the grassroots level and find out the problems. Do ground study. Collect points. Having done so, try to define the problems. Having done the ground study and collected the points, try to define the problems of the people. What are the problems? Why do they resort to stand in the ration shop queue for a long time? Don't they have any work at home? Or the system in the ration shop is not effective? Find out some reasons for the problems. Having identified the reasons for the problems, you have to start thinking. You have to brew up ideas in your mind to resolve the problems. Once you are done with ideas, put all these ideas together. Find out a mechanism to solve these problems. Create a prototype. Prototype is the basic design, which you claim that it is going to be providing solutions for the aforesaid problem. After you come out with your prototype, as I said, you can nominate it at the Institution Innovation Council. The Institution Innovation Council will test your prototype. If that is really effective, if the testing is very effective, if that mechanism uh, gives the hope of solving the real problem in the society, then it is done. You can go for claiming the patent and it will be coming into existence. So if you want to do a course on design thinking, you can go to Swayam. In Swayam, NPTEL offers a course on design thinking. This course, design thinking course, gives you comprehensive knowledge on innovation. These are the components of design thinking. And you have to apply this in your day-to-day life. Listening to a sheer lecture on design thinking will not solve the problems. Only when executed properly, it becomes materialistic. So empathize, define, ideate, prototype, test are the basics of design thinking. Next one. Next. I think it's over. Yes. I think I've given an overall idea about new education policy and innovation. It all lies in your hands. Try to apply these principles. Spend more time in incubation centers. Ideate a lot. Spend time with people from different departments. Get ready for the debate. Keep in touch with your professors forever. And with doing all this, you can certainly become innovators. Innovation does not happen in a dark room. It happens in the open world. This is my conclusion. Now, questions. If you have any questions, you have asked me. I said I want to answer your questions. I am more eager to answer your questions. Only then this lecture becomes meaningful. Staff members, students, you are most welcome to raise questions. I don't claim that my scholarship is that huge and I can answer all your questions, but it's my responsibility to enlighten you on the queries. Dinesh sir, you can perhaps um, pass it on to the students there.
If anybody have any doubt, he or she can ask the question now.
Yeah, thank you, Shivangi, for
Thank you, sir.
doing this.
I think, sir, students have no doubt.
Oh, really? What does it mean, right? Have they understood everything or they did not understand anything?
Maybe they understood each and everything. Maybe.
Oh, that's fine.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Lavni, sir, HOD of Electrical Department, to, sir, please present the vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, Shivangi. It is audible to you? Or
Yes,
it
sir,
is
it is audible. Yes,
okay.
sir, it is
Thank you
audible.
so much. Thank you so much, Shivangi, for inviting me as proposed a formal vote of thanks for this day. So, on the behalf of management, director, faculty members of Yogananda College of Engineering and Technology, it is a great privilege for me to propose a formal vote of thanks on this orientation session on education policy with a focus on innovation and entrepreneurship. Firstly, I would like to thanks from my core of the art to our resource person for the day, Dr. U. Chandra Kumara, Assistant Professor, Pacheppa College for Men's, Kanchipuram, Tamil Nadu, who accepts our invitation with a very short time and spare his valuable and precious time and gave a talk to the students and the faculty members of Electrical Engineering Department. Sir, your speech is highly beneficial to all of us and we get a great beneficial from it. I would also like to thank Director of ICT, Dr. For Anup Kumar Srivastav sir, for joining this session and throw some light on this session and also motivate our students. Thank you so much, sir, for your presence. Your presence is always encouraging for us to do such type of more activities in future also. I would also like to thank Engineer Dinesh Gupta, Head of the Department Computer Science and IT, also President of IIC Cell of YCT for joining this session. Thank you so much, sir. Under your guidance and supervision, we achieve more and more goals in the field of Institute Innovation Council. Sir, you work very hard to make all of us proud in the field of IIC Cell of YCT. I would also like to thank the faculty member of Electrical Engineering Department for joining this session. I would also like to thank the students of Electrical Engineering Department YCT who listened this session very patiently. I hope this session is great benefited to all of us. Lastly, I would also like to thank our technical team, especially Robin sir and Neeraj sir, which are always behind the scene, due to which this session is possible. Without their support in this pandemic, it is not possible for us to arrange such type of seminars or webinars. Thank you so much for our technical team. So this is all from my side. Thank you once again to one and all to be present there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chandra Kumar, Professor Chandra Kumar.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Now I want to say Banakam.
Oh yeah, vanakkam, vanakkam, nandri, vanakkam.
I know Tamil Kunjam Kunjam.
Oh, fine. You said no, you studied in Chennai.
Yeah, I have done my engineering from Chennai.
Yeah, you did tell me that. I'm so happy. But
And,
I wish I were in Kashmir. But let me see.
Definitely, after pandemic, definitely we will invite you in the state of Jammu and Kashmir.
No. That's okay. Fine.
Definitely.
I'm so happy. I wish I were there. That's a beautiful place. And but the only concern is that I expected students to ask me questions. Okay, it's okay. It's not a problem. I think it was it clear? Was it clear?
Yeah.
Was it up to the mark? Did I do justice?
Yeah, you have done justice, and yes, it was up to the mark, and you have done so much research on Jammu and Kashmir. It is not only famous for apples and kesar, it is
Okay.
also famous for akroat. Then there are so many dry fruits are there, famous dry fruits from Jammu and Kashmir, and also famous for pashmina shawls and so many other things.
Okay. When I come there, I'll buy.
Like your Kanjipuram is famous for silk sarees.
Yeah. Oh my God, you got so you know so much about Kanchipuram. Yes, Kanchipuram is
Yeah.
known for silk sarees.
Sir, I have visited almost all the places of Tamil Nadu, not only Tamil Nadu, but down south. I have visited almost all the famous places like Tirupati Balaji, Rameshwaram, Kanyakumari, then Pondicherry, Bangalore. I have
Okay.
visited almost all the places.
Oh, that's fine. That's fantastic. I love hearing that from you.
You are most welcome. After pandemic, we definitely invite you in the state of JNK, and definitely I will accompany you wherever you want to go.
It's,
Thank you
thank
once
you.
again. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for your lovely and wonderful session, sir.
Thank you for your soothing words, Mr. Dinesh Gupta, and thank you for having me again. And I am really indebted to thank the director of your institution. Yeah, I'm very impressed with your director. He has been so composed and seems to be an avid reader as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so eager to meet him in person if I have an opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you once again. Thank you.
So all the students to be present there is one information that once feedback form will be circulated in your chat box. So all the students are directed to please fill the feedback form before leaving the station. And those who are already filled the feedback form, they can leave now. Attendance will be monitored by only the feedback form. So all are requested to please fill the feedback form before leaving the station. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to all to be present there. Thank you so much.